So today is April 30th, 2024 at 6 p.m. and this is a Downtown Development Authority special meeting to vote on the purchase of a property using TIF funds or future TIF funds. So to get started, let's say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brian, do you mind doing a roll call, please?
Mr. Yankee is absent. Mr. Zentuna.
Yes.
Ms. Harper.
Here.
Ms. Petzel.
Here.
Mr. Gittens.
Present.
Supervisor Aliaga.
Here.
Trustee Morocco.
Here.
Mr. Milzo, absent, and Mr. Neiman.
Here.
Okay. Do we need to approve the minutes from the last meeting? No. Okay. So right now we have a presentation. Dick, do you want to say anything? Essentially, what we've got going on today is we need to come to a vote to see if we as a board are willing to approve this memorandum of understanding to purchase a property. If we agree among this board, then we will then send it to the township board, and it will be up to them to decide if we continue to move forward. Dick, would you like to add anything?
No, just to advise the board that the MOU approach, the memorandum of understanding, was what was recommended by the township attorney because the DDA doesn't have the authority to obligate the township for an actual purchase agreement. So this was what we did discuss this with Mr. Kelly's office, and this is what they recommended. They drafted it. I presented it, discussed it with the seller's realtor. Obviously did consult with the chair, but to make this, to act as a mediator, I did the discussions with the property owner, the owner's representative, and this is what came out of it. So no, I have nothing further to add. We did supply the board with a sketch that shows you the property and how it could be used. It's of sufficient size that you could do something really nice there in terms of a landscape feature with a sign, even a little pocket park. We are recommending that the driveway and the parking that's there, obviously the building needs to be removed and the parking needs to be demolished, but to have a nice little pocket park in that area that would connect to our safety pass system, that would serve as an entryway to the township, but a super nice landscape. What we're showing is just the bare minimum on our drawing that you received. So that's pretty much it. Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to answer any questions. This is right at the boundary of the township. To the south of this is Waterford Township. So you probably couldn't find a more ideal location for what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, I agree. And we were just looking at the map. So this is the first full parcel that we would have the ability to own and do what we want to do, greenscaping. The design can come after we purchase. That will be another thing that we discuss. But for now, we've talked about, since our last meeting, we had two subcommittees. One subcommittee talked about acquiring property where we can put signs, and the other subcommittee talked about designs and logos. And so it came out of the subcommittee that wanted to find a location. And yes, it's the first property inside of Independence Township to where we could have this type of design. So the breakdown of where this is, so the parcel ID number is 08333570003. And Dick, will you advise the board, should we discuss a purchase price?
Well, it's in the MOU, so I don't think there's any, frankly, that is what came out of our negotiations. I mean, we didn't obviously offer that to begin with, but that's what they countered with. That's what I am recommending that you adopt. Just so, to the benefit of the DDA board member, this goes to the township board members for two reasons. The first one being is that you can't enter into the purchase agreement. Second, the board is going to have to advance the money for this, which is not unusual. The CIA in Sashbar Road, received a substantial advancement of monies, and including actually bonding. But your revenue projections are more than adequate to meet this obligation. This year, you will not collect quite as much as this purchase price, but over the next 2 years, you're going to collect more than enough for both the purchase price and the improvement of this property. So I think it's a good first, frankly, if you do this, you're way ahead of most, organizations that we work with in the first year of their full year of their existence to actually have a bona fide project that you can point to that you've accomplished. So I think it's pretty exciting, really. So that's what the board's going to be asked to advance the money. It's really not a large sum of money that they're going to have to advance. They know they're going to get paid back because we've got the TIF revenues. It's a guaranteed source of income. It's not anything unusual that the board has done. The board will probably, there'll be a formal agreement drawn up between the DDA and the board for reimbursement, but that's pretty much a formality from that standpoint, if the board approves it. And it's pretty much, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Sam?
Hey, Dick,
Yes.
you forgot the best part. How much are we paying for it?
Well, because of the TIF revenue.
No, you're right. Yeah, that's what I meant. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, because this is a tax increment financing district, the township's tax revenues devoted to this is it's about half. The rest of the revenue on our TIF district comes from other taxing jurisdictions, including Oakland County, Oakland Community College, Huron-Clinton, and Huron-Clinton Metropolitan Authority. So about half of your tax revenues for the TIF district come from other taxing jurisdictions invested in this district. So it is a way to get some consolidated tax benefit, into a particular geographic area that we think has some hopes of growing and producing more tax revenue for all the taxing jurisdictions ultimately. So that's what Sam is saying is absolutely correct.
Dick kept bringing it up and he forgot this time, so I wanted to let him bring it up. But, and I think mass transit's in there too, right?
Yes.
So, as much as we're painfully paying that mass transit millage, all the property we get to keep that in the district.
Well, and Sam, ultimately, I mean, in a fair manner from that standpoint, if transit ever does come to Dixie Highway, that might end up being a good transit stop too for,
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, it would be an excellent spot right there, and actually a good spot for a transit stop where people would have a pleasant place to wait and, get on a bus. So, yeah.
So I've been working on this project for probably, I don't even know how long. I mean, probably 15 years ago, we had funding from the board approved for $20,000 for an entranceway sign on Dixie. And we never got to that. It never came to light. So this has been going on forever. So one thing I do want to say is I think that we need to not refer this as an entranceway sign, as we need to refer this project as the entranceway. Because my vision is to mass plantings, a path, benches, a destination as part of the entranceway. If you drive up Dixie like I did today, when you get past Hutchinson's Electric, you see this huge white cinder block building. It's very predominant. Now, and picture that to be the green space. So the panoramic is really big, and a destination is what we need on Dixie Highway, in my opinion. We've been working on it forever. there is, people do walk up and down Dixie, but there's nowhere to walk to, there's nowhere to stop, LA Cafe's right across the street. There's a crosswalk on Andersonville, so it's approachable. One of the oldest cemeteries in the area is right there around the corner with, the founding families of Clarkston back to 1800, so before the Civil War. So there's a destination that can be identified, from that little pocket park. I just don't want people to downplay it like we're just putting in a sign. This needs to be massive, beautiful. I think we need, once that's done, we can recruit nonprofits, veteran organizations, the garden club does all the boxes downtown, people to maintain it, people to plant it. It doesn't seem like a big spot, but you can do a lot in a little space if you do it right. I was on the acquisition committee this time, but when I did this however many, 10, 15 years ago, fighting for sign funded, we went to the Oakland County Graphic Arts Department and had them do a program with the kids to come up with ideas for Independence Township's entranceway sign. Dick, I was telling you about that.
Yeah.
So this whole file here is just full of all the kids' different ideas and designs for the township that I'm gonna give to your subcommittee. Just, I hate to have them go to waste. They should be at least referenced and gone through. So this is, the kids' names that did them are on the back. That could be something Dick had mentioned too, to follow on that line before, that it could be, this entranceway could be designed as a program or a competition. The sign on this spot using our new logo, but the shape and size and mass and all that could be something that we can work through. But I think if it's an opportunity of a lifetime to get one of the first parcels. It's just small enough to make sense. We would never get the board to agree to buy $1 million building and tear it down. So it's like, this is it. This is the golden opportunity to, and like Dick said, it's gonna be, within 2 years, we can have a beautiful, massive, entrance.
Yeah.
Where, if we don't do this, we're putting up flags on sign poles and putting a couple planter boxes in for the next 5 years till we raise enough money to do a major road improvement. Like, there's only so many things that you're gonna do to change the streetscape, you know what I mean? And this is fast, furious, and in your face, and this could be something super, character changing, so.
If I could introduce a term to the board, and Sam, has been passionate about this for many years, but let's refer to this as a forested portal into the township. And I think that's really what we're talking about. It's a forested opening or entryway, a forested portal into the township. And, you're not going to be able to heavily landscape every inch of Dixie Highway. It's just too much of the built environment is there. But if we can find opportunities to provide masses of plantings periodically, it's going to improve the image and provide interest and color, and vibrancy through natural landscaping. And this is the first step. So I'd like to use the term forested portal as we work through this whole thing.
I like that. Thank you, Dick. Thank you, Sam. Thanks for sharing. We can tell, Sam, that you're passionate about this and don't want to see a dead end again. So that's why we recreated this board, so that we can get stuff done. So I just want to give just a minute if anybody from the board has any questions about this. There was an email sent out with the MOU, but does anybody want any clarity about what we're voting on or anything like that?
Right. No, for me, it's very clear. I want to thank the board and everybody for coming, take your extra time to be here. I think it's important. What decision we're making tonight is a recommendation that is going to go to the next board, which is the Board of Trustees, and the Board of Trustees is going to make the final decision. But this is a lot of work too. I have to highlight all the work that thank you, David, and everyone in the board put together. I think this is something that's needed for the township, for Dixie Highway. for many years, like Trustee Morocco stated, a lot of people have been asking what we gonna do for Dixie Highway. People were asking, I mean, for revitalize Dixie Highway. I think this is a one step forward to revitalize Dixie Highway, and I hope that you guys agree with me and move forward with this. I think that's gonna be a good, positive impact for our township.
Yep, I agree.
The only question I have is, I think you're right on. I mean, it's a great spot leading off. It's gonna inspire change. But do we know what the rough estimate's gonna be for phase two once we have the property, if we get the property? Is demolishing the building, widening the curbs, like how much is that investment gonna be, and how, does that come from us as well?
Yeah, comes from
It
us.
will, and no, we don't. I mean, because we haven't done any design. But I can tell you probably that it's, you know, it's gonna be roughly equal to what you're purchasing the property for, if you wanna do it right.
At least.
Yeah, well, I'm not so sure it can't be done, you know, for that same amount of money, but, it, but anyway, I would estimate that it's gonna be at least that much, and you wanna do this first project right.
I think that if we get this going, Nate, we should be able to enhance the businesses on Dixie, on the DDA to get involved to help us with it, you know?
Sure, with plants.
We could get people to I'm sure I could rustle up some people to help tear the building down and get volunteers. And, anytime that you're gonna put something like this together that you can, just like when we did the senior center or the city hall in Clarkston, if you can recognize people for their contributions and a plaque or something at the site when it's done, you can get a lot of people to contribute to do it, to keep the cost relatively down and involve nonprofits. And if we, there's lots of ways to do it, but if we were to allow smaller monuments or things, there's some other ideas that people had about putting up the organizations in town. Like you go into a lot of towns out in the country, you still see like the Optimist, like who, which groups are here. Like there's ways of to do that classy, and get those people to participate, because the way I look at it is we're going to be collecting this TIF money. We're only going to be able to do so many projects that are hundreds of thousands of dollars. The rest of them are going to be big money that we're going to need. We're going to need contributions from people. We're going to need, other people, other
Right.
governments to get, entities to get involved. But for us to control it, that's not, that's really not a lot of money for what you're getting
This
for
is-
it.
Yeah, this is one of the best, I mean, look, as I've told you, your TIF money is gonna essentially be the seed to get other money. It's the thing to get matching funds. Smart organizations use this as an enticement to get both public and private funds to supplement their projects, actually to do most of their projects. But these are the kind of things, what you're talking about now, is not where there's not, you're not gonna go out and get grants for something like this. You'll have grants for much bigger projects and more grandiose projects. And this is something, if you do it yourself, you're going to start to prove to people that there is some civic pride in Dixie Highway, which has unfortunately been lacking for too long. And it's a historic highway. It's the old Saginaw, turnpike, basically, Pontiac to Saginaw. So this is the start. So look at it that way, and don't get, in too deep in the weeds right now about what you should do, because you're not going to do anything unless you acquire this property. So I think that's what we should focus on, is selling that to the board, getting the property, and then planning it.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And like Sam says before we start, just want to make a final comment. It's like, since I moved here actually 24 years ago, I hear about the sign, welcome sign, or some of the signs for a long time and never happened. And now I want to step closer to make it happen now. It's sad for me sometimes that I go to Waterford, Brandon, other township, Orion, and they have a nice welcome sign, welcome to Orion, welcome to Waterford, and we still don't have even a sign. And this is, I think, a good opportunity, and again, we're just making a recommendation. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So-
That's a good concern, Nate, so I appreciate you asking that. Anybody else have any comments or thoughts or anything? Just to be, I'm always looking to be more conservative in price, and one of the first things I thought of is, if this didn't work, can we put a sign somewhere? And so I personally reached out to a nearby parcel to see if we could put some kind of easement. We wouldn't be able to get this park, it wouldn't be this vast, this grand, but it could be an entryway sign. And unfortunately, that didn't go anywhere. So in the time that we had, I did try to see if that was an option, so we could present multiple options to the board here. But this really seems to be the best option, and I like the idea of seeing it as an entry space, not just an entry sign, a destination somewhere runners can run to, bikers can bike to, and something that kind of sets us apart from Waterford. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I drive down Dixie, it's like I just see gray. So it'd be nice to have some greenery. Yes.
I own the store right on Dixie, and a lot of my customers, they always think that's a part of Waterford. So it kind of blends in when they drive in. No, it's not up in Dixie. They think it's still part of Waterford. So I experience that a lot of the times, and especially people who lives in the area. And once we do that, and I think it's gonna makes it stands out more. That
Yep.
Where Independence Township began for the southern borders.
For sure.
Thank you.
Well, all we need is a recommendation of our board here to the township board to enter into a purchase agreement.
Do we need to open it up for public discussion first?
If there is anybody that wishes to, yes.
Yeah. At this time, we'd like to open it up for public discussion. We have some people in the room, but no? Okay. All right. Sam, since this is your baby, you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I recommend that we recommend to the township board the acquisition of the parcel being presented.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Anyone opposed? All right. Awesome. Well,
All right?
appreciate that, and I think that concludes our meeting here. We're gonna have other meetings, our other subcommittee as far as designing, and we'll have to, if the board approves this, then we'll have to get to work designing this screenscape. So we're gonna continue to work on signage and logos and slogans. But as far as this meeting is concerned, then we're ready to go. So I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any-
Aye.
All right, awesome,
Thank
great,
you.
good meeting, guys.
Thank you.
David, this is the guidelines that were used for the.
Sorry, so this is what they gave the students as parameters?
Yep.
Okay.
And that went to them, and then, so it was 2014